Oh, hello. So, so this um, I need to flip the camera so it makes sense in my head. So that is sorry for the late start. OBS wanted to download an upgrade. So this is an old lunch sketch. I want to continue. Hey Atski, I would have breakfast. The Zealin Captain Bows. How's it going? How's it going? And Bram cells. Oh Jesus. The Mr. Bramselves himself. Let's start. I'm late. Right, like I said, this is an old lunch warm up, lunch sketch. I mean, rather than warm up. I felt like it has a nice feel to it, and I wanna push it a bit further. So here I am, sketching away. Hey, I mean, how's it going? Oh well, thank you very much, Bramses. Yeah, it's like I said, this is one of those lunchtime ones. I felt like doing a goblin. You fantastic people. I will ask it again later in the stream when there's more people. But you seem to be a lot of you seems to be Twitch centric, right? You guys are on Twitch quite a bit, I think. And I assume, hey Quentin, how's it going? I assume you guys are also Discord. Hey, Dr. Sheldon. Good morning. And you guys are on Discords as well. I think that seems to be the trend, if I'm not mistaken. What are some Discords? If you would talk to a complete Discord virgin who's into art, digital art, or traditional art, which Discords would you recommend? Is there like, do you guys know if there's any huge Discords, for example? I haven't really ventured into Discord land too much. I mean, obviously I have a Discord, right? I am a member of a few other ones, but they are not large. I think out of the Discords I'm a member of a quite a big Discord channel, but I never engage in it. Well, thank you very much, Morphia. Silicon Bleach, Brother Baston. Oh, and mine. Oh. Art Germs? Oh. When it comes to Discords, Cameron Brown. What's the beef? What's the beef, yo? Well, Mr. Cameron, if you need to know, I work for England. I am not free. I'm not a free agent. I am a lead artist / art director for a UK company. Hey, Janae, how's it going? Good morning. I think I'm this Rob Brown concept art. I think I'm there too, but I'm not active. It's quite massive, and they're like such a massive community thing. If that's the one I'm thinking about, he has a YouTube as well, I think. Uh, but it's a really, I think Discords is interesting and different way of communication. I mean, I think Avoid Breakfast. I think so. I think they do. Does. He should. I mean, I think it's called Church of Cynics, isn't it? Um, but yeah, like I was saying, Cameron. Um, like I was saying, I've transformed my Discord to how I want it to be, right? And I know other people are like bending the use of Discord to their needs, or it's like to their vision of how they want to use Discord, which is, I think, is a cool one. It's a cool ability that there's enough wiggle room in Discord. um, yeah, it's dynamic enough to engage or bend to so many different users. Discord. I think my next step would need to be like interaction with bots. I think I need a bot for the stream, and you can have the bot engage with Discord as well. I'm quite sure of it. I'm not really 100% because I'm not familiar with it that much. Hey, Concept Sam, how's it going? Concept Sam, this is a lunch sketch I've done earlier, and I like it. I just thought I'd paint on it some on the warm up because OBS updated itself, some big update, so I was late. So there wouldn't have been time to ask for a topic because I was late. You know, which would mean the stream would have to end earlier because I have a time. What's it called? Time slot? No, not time zone. Time slot. Hey, I am Dio. What's up? Welcome. You're new. Nice to see a new face. Hey, Captain Boss. Jedi, the hero cards are coming. The hero cards are coming. Cameron, no, actually, it was one. It was one lunch. So Captain Boss, about the discords, I asked if you there would be a complete beginner but a art aficionado, a person who is interested in art, and you would recommend Discord. Where would you go? Is there like any household names? You know, like, oh, go join this Discord. This Discord is great. Um, hey, Tormod. What up, Tormund? How's it going? How's the world of programming? Yeah, because I was just wondering about Discords because I've bent my Discord to my will, right? And I had a look at numbers, and there's quite a lot of people on the server, but they're not very active. So I assume that it's a little bit like Pokemons, like you want to keep servers. Ice Die, it is Twitch subscribers. And if you're a subscriber on the channel, you can ask for your personal sketchbook in Discord. And when you do post there, when I have spare time, I try to give you guys some extra feedback as a little bit of a thank you for the support. So you get a little bit of coaching if you want. I am Dio. No, this is my morning because you are new, Dio. I will give you the rundown. So usually what happens is I stream every day at the same time for half an hour, and I generally ask for a random topic by you guys, and then I roll a dice, and the dice decides which topic I will paint. So I start a timer, and the countdown starts right for 30 minutes because at the studio where I work, we have a mandatory 30-minute warm up when we get into the studio. So everyone at the studio sits and paints for half an hour, me included. And I decided to stream it. That's the only difference. And then we continue work. So that's why my streams are only half an hour. But yeah, so you guys decide the topic. I paint it, or draw it, or design it, or concept it, whatever is required. Lately, I've been on this dark fantasy path, and this was one of my live streams, which I do sporadically, where I just put on music and relax instead of trying to talk all the time. And today, OBS, the streaming software, was updating, so I didn't have time to ask you for a topic. So I decided to stream this. Captain Boast, Robot Pencils Discord? Oh. Ice Die. Generally not the portfolio reviews because that takes a little bit more of work on those personal sketchbooks. But if you post some new art or your new sketch or study or whatever, I tend to try to take time to write you. But portfolio reviews is a completely different beast. You got to take time to do it correctly. That's good. That's cool. That's really good stuff, Captain Boss. Yeah, well, according to like on the topic of feedback and so on, I think anyone can give feedback in the sense of this is what I think, this is what I got from your painting. If someone is less skilled than you, the chances of them being able to give you a technical suggestion of change, and that and in that sense that change would be beneficial is lowered. But that doesn't mean they wouldn't be able to say, listen, you're doing it wrong, right? Here's what I think you should do. Because people can might have a great observational skill, but their technical level is low. So you never know really about critiques, but so or feedback. So what you got to do, regardless of skill level, as that's at least how I see it. If someone gives me pointers, this is what I think. I don't go and look at their skill level to see if I should listen to their critique or not, or feedback or not, right? I don't even know if they're good artists or if they are an artist that gives me feedback. I look at the feedback and go, is the feedback warranted? Can I see their point? And if I can see their point, is that something that I would mind changing? Or if I would change it, what for what purpose would that be? To make them happy or to improve the painting? Is it a valid feedback? Ice dye. Well, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. But disregarding feedback just because you think they're inferior artist, and disregarding the feedback just because of it, I think is a little bit of a slippery road to take because feedback is feedback regardless. Someone's impression uh, is their impression of what you've done, and not all feedback needs to be technically driven. But again, like I said, it's down to what you do with it and how you what you take out of the feedback and implement it or not. If it's a valid if it's a valid comment or if it's just an opinion. People can have opinions. That's fine. Let's say someone would say, "Oh, I don't like the use of yellow in your painting." If one person says that, I can go, well, yeah, I can see why you don't like it. But if 100 people say, like, your use of yellow in this painting is really bad, then you got to consider, all right, so all of these people are not artists, uh, but they're all voicing the same feedback. Is that something I need to think about? Should I change or should I power on because I love using that shade of yellow? Ice dye. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it depends on why you're asking for feedback. Is it the feedback for technical, to drive it forward? If you ask uh, an artist that's in your field, that's ahead of you for feedback, you're most likely you're asking for um, that person to specifically more advanced technical feedback, right? But if you're just showing your art, saying "ta-da, check it," then you're opening the doors for anyone to give feedback. And in that sense, you need to accept any sort of feedback, right? And it's not about being a dick or not. Uh, it's just about that's how I see it. It's not me pointing fingers to you. Block? Sorry for the block. What block, Captain Paus? Did I miss something? There's been some interesting discussions on the Discord in terms of stylistic choices and art and feedback, uh, which some people couldn't deal with it, and it became a fight sometimes. Some people turned to name calling. Some people had a extremely creative discussion about uh, the painting subject. So I like that majority of discussions, you don't need to agree with, but you don't need to create enemies, right? Which is what the most of the interactions on my Discord to be, which I think is a really healthy one. The long text above, Captain Boss. The last thing I seen is you wrote about your friend's Discord. There's no wall of text. Look, it's just Ice Die who spammed. And Boss, this is the last thing you wrote. I don't know what you're talking about. Zealin, perhaps. Ice Die. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. But yeah, I think absolutely I agree, Concept Sam. You gotta be able to have a discussion about feedback, and also there is a validity in anyone's comment. Like I mentioned, if 500 people are telling you like it's a weird painting, but they are moms and pops of randos, they're still saying the same thing, even though technically they wouldn't be able to reproduce the painting. They wouldn't be able to draw anything better than a stick figure. You can still have an impression and still have a takeaway. But what you, as a skilled artist, then have to do is look at it for face value and try to be objective about it and go, okay, so what am I missing here? What am I miscommunicating? Am I miscommunicating? Or but it's a little bit trickier in that sense when it comes to design, because that's a lot more concrete, and a design can work and not work. But there's also a big part of it is impression, and impressions, regardless of it's production art or illustration, is always down to presentation. But with production art, it's slightly different because it's about presenting the design rather than a visual journey in that sense. So like a illustration, you gotta. It's all about impression, right? It's more fine art than production. Production art is way more technical. This that's really good, Captain Post. That's great. That's um that's what I used to do many years ago with a friend of mine called Petter. He's a great speed painter, like in Levi Peterfi, juicy texture, angry sausage style speed painting, right? Um, and back then I was way better than him at concept art and characters. So what we did was I coached him with whenever he did the character, I would give him feedback and like rain on his parade. And like vice versa, when it came to textures and painting and stuff like that, he would do paint overs. We would do paint overs over each other as well. And don't worry, Captain Post. I don't care about writing people writing a lot. If there is actual context or validity to what you're saying. If you're just writing banana all over and over and over, yeah, that's spamming. That's pointless. But having a discussion with a lot of text, don't worry about it. It's the way it should be, right? When you're having a discussion, sometimes you got to extend your point. Sometimes a shorter answer is valid. I mean, look at me. I'm ranting for half an hour. Hey, Datatronic, how's it go? What? Da 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 da. But yeah, I do agree that like a voodoo breakfast. Some people have a hard time accepting comments. I have some people might know, but I had for me not a nice interaction with another artist that didn't want to hear feedback, and that artist more or less said, "You shouldn't voice your opinions unless I ask for it," which for me was like, "All right, then don't post it publicly." But according to that person, I just said, "Yeah, sure. If that's how you want to do it, I won't never comment on your work again, other than nice or fantastic, good job." Um, as that the artist, that's what the artist wanted, regardless of skill level. Hey, Arkenstone, welcome to the end of the stream again. You asked the same question yesterday at the end of the stream. Um, um, hey, Cosmoverse, how's it going? About learning anatomy and so on. I think there is no right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong book. There's no here's a easy 5-step solution to learning to do art. A big part of doing concept art is doing. That's step one. Up your level of output. Grind that shit of being creative, right? Because concept art, 95% is creative, 5% technical. Um, and the more you draw, the more technical you'll get, and the better technically you'll become because of mileage. Uh, but that's just doing it, right? And then a huge part of it is upping your game by deliberately studying techniques, processes, subjects, anatomy being one of the subjects, color, and so on. And a lot of people make a mistake of copying the subject when you're studying. It's wrong because you gotta be working smart, not hard. So set a rule or a purpose for the study when you do get around to start doing studies. So let's say I'm going to learn color, and one way to learn color is to study the theory of color theory. Another one is implementation of it, and you can also do studies of other people's art. But when you're doing it of other people's art, don't do a study of a replication. Don't do a one-to-one replica. Try to look behind the curtains, so to speak, why they're doing the choices they're doing. What decisions have they done? Why are they putting the color in that way? And a lot, for example, with anatomy, there's like Loomis, uh, Hogarth, Bridgman, and all of them do the same. They teach you anatomy, but a lot of it comes to how you think. Like Loomis is lines, right? And Hogarth or Bridgman is all volume. so it's different. You got to figure out what works for you the best, and that is experimenting and testing and figuring, like, be smart about it. Atsky. Well, there you go. And Jenny, that's some great suggestions. I think that's a great suggestions to start out with to see if that speaks to you. And also, Arkenstone, join the Discord and start posting your art on my Discord. Some people have done massive progress by just being around creative people. And your question is quite open. How do I get good at it? It's about, what do you like to do? How do you go about doing it? What's your preferences? What's your styles? I have no idea, in that sense of stylistically what you're after. It's really hard to tell someone do XYZ and you'll get good. I can give you generic response, and then it's up to you, right? But people gave you some suggestions, which I think they are pretty valid to go after. But for me, it's a lot of case by case. And also, a good way of studying is do a study. Let's say we look at a painting of someone. You reuse the color and the palette and the way the artist has done brushstrokes, but you paint your own subject. That's also an interesting one. Anyways, time's up. Let's look at who we can raid. Who should we raid? If anyone has any suggestions on the person to raid, do let me know and I will take a look. Maybe we should dive into the art section. Drawing some character design. It's not tits and ass, which is valid. Let's see. That's a pretty cool style. Let's rate this person. What's your name? TB Choi. Hey, Captain Bose. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dado. Have a great day, everyone. Good night. See you guys tomorrow at the exact same time. You guys are fantastic. Nothing but this. Oh, how nice. Okay. Bye, everyone. See you guys tomorrow. Outro time.